it all just kind of happened by accident, and I feel like it was all just a bunch of like building steps into it. I first started by getting into pageants. I was Miss Orange County and Miss Nevada Earth, USA. And that really helped me in like knowing how to pose, knowing how to walk, like knowing how to style myself, do makeup. And I just realized that social media was a really important thing.
I think it's better to be like, I have a certain opinion on it, but I think, do you agree with me on this opinion where like, you said you want to be known either for like music or like fashion or certain things as like a content or a brand, because like you as a person are the brand too, you know? Would you rather like see as a viewer and like advice as a content creator and like social media, you know, influencer, all that, right?
Say see you later, that was never promised, nigga. That's why we true now and laters. Ain't shit sweet. I remember 20 deep, 3 in street, signed 3 artists. Both of these niggas, they still move indiscreet. It's funny justice in the view and me, cause my niggas never knew justice. They got taken by justice. Hey. Fuck it.
Yo, welcome back to the Rap For Me podcast, already the coolest music podcast on YouTube, and we're back at our favorite spot, Trendsetters Barbershop in Hollywood. Shout out to them. If you need a cut, you already know where to go. So we're going to start off today with a round of introductions, and then we'll move into our interview of our featured guest, and then we're going to hear some raps. So without further ado, we're going to introduce the rappers. So the first guy coming up, the leader of the Lawless Society, my boy. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yo, it's Mo98, Lawless Society, independent label. Yeah, that's it. 98 babies.
Yeah, and then I guess the leader of the No Pressure Records.
Yeah. I go by the name of CM McDuff. I'm from Moreno Valley, California. No Pressure Records, all that. You feel me? Yeah, I in here. So.
Last but not least.
I don't know. You guys see me all the time. I eventually I'm gonna run out of like intros. So I'm CJ. Let's have a good show. Let's get it. Let's go.
Awesome, cool. And our first creative to the far left.
Yo, Aaliyah, what's up? Stop saying anything else.
What's up, Aaliyah?
Aaliyah's back. Aaliyah's back
I'm
again. Episode
back.
2. Check out episode 2 to see Aaliyah's story, where she came from, and see her do her own little freestyle too.
Back in the day.
Okay, cool. And then we have a new guest to the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, my name is Anissa. I was born and raised in LA, and I'm a dancer.
Awesome, cool. And our featured guest, let us know who you are, what you do, where you're from, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm Sophia. You can find me on social media at Sophia Camille Collier. I am a social media content creator, TikToker, marketer, entrepreneur. Stay hustling,
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a real LA native right there. And one thing I like about Sophia too is Sophia is like actually like good. Like, I'm a content creator. I'm like, no, she actually is really good at creating content.
Thank you.
Describe like, I guess that process and getting to that point, because I look at you and I'm like, my sister's like, I want to be a TikToker. I'm like, you probably look at Sophia and do her shit. Like, use her as an example. How did you kind of get your start? Like, what's your story into getting to like that newer, modern sort of creative job in a sense?
Definitely. So it all just kind of happened by accident, and I feel like it was all just a bunch of like building steps into it. I first started by getting into pageants. I was Miss Orange County and Miss Nevada Earth, USA. And that really helped me in like knowing how to pose, knowing how to walk, like knowing how to style myself, do makeup. And I just realized that social media was a really important thing. And, you know, it really helped me, you know, by getting brand deals and working with photographers. So after, you know, becoming like the content creator and growing on social media, I started helping other people grow their own brand. So helping them by, you know, growing on Instagram and, you know, engagement groups and getting verified. And it just kind of grew from there during the midst of COVID, because everybody wanted to be big online. So it was kind of like the perfect timing when it started. And I don't know, you just keep growing from there and just like consistently pumping out content. And yeah, you just, it's a cool journey. Yeah.
I mean, speak on that a little bit, because I know a couple guys who want to grow online. You understand? They want to get more following and stuff like that. Like, what have you seen? Like, do you have like a formula in your head, or like, how do you consult with people when they come to you like, hey, help me grow online? How do I become like you? Like, what do you say?
Definitely. Well, I feel like the biggest thing is always knowing what your niche is. And I feel like everyone's always talking about that, but like really knowing like what you want to be known as and like what you want to be known for. So the biggest thing is whether you're trying to get known for like music, or you want to be, you know, in the fashion world, or you want to be a makeup artist, and just like consistently putting out content that like is within that niche. And like people will eventually start seeing you and noticing you, like the more you do it, if that makes sense.
That does make sense. But like, My only thing is like, I don't know. Sometimes with creatives, you don't want to feel like you want to box yourself in. Like, what is your advice to someone who's like, hey man, I don't want to just be known as just like.
Yeah, I think it's like really good to like experiment with different styles of content. You know, if you're not sure like what type of content creator you are, like experiment with like comedy and like trying making different skits and like collaborating with other people that like make that sort of content. And if you feel like comedy's not for you, then maybe try doing like fashion trends and seeing like what actually does the best on social media and like performs the best, and just like keep producing content that's similar to it, but like has a little different twist to it every time.
That's interesting.
So like just a matter of trying, right?
Yeah, it's a matter of like trial and error, in my opinion.
That's
like yeah, and like just like watching a bunch of like YouTube videos and like looking up to like the people that you love the most and how their content style is, and just kind of like trying to like repeat that, but like adding like your own personality and flavor to it.
And when you're like when you're a person like yourself who's like really creative, right? And you're like, you act, you can sing, you dance. Do you feel like do you go through like phases, or do you get bored of one of them? Do you know what I mean? And then you like, I'm gonna be a singer now because I want to try that out now, or like, how does it kind of work?
Definitely.
Like, what's your process like?
I feel like it's like important as a creative to not like overthink it and just kind of like, you know, dive into different things, especially when we're all like this young still. Like we have the opportunity to like make those mistakes and try out different things. And it's really good to like put yourself out there and like surround yourself with people who like do different things that like you might feel comfortable with. So like trying out like a different type of like dance and like, you know, collaborating with somebody who makes a completely different style content than you do, and just kind of like mixing until you like find what it is that you really like. But I feel like you have to try a bunch of different things to figure out like what your like niche is, if that makes sense.
Okay, cool. And just kind of going off of that, tell us a little bit about like, because I mean, obviously we have rappers on the show. Like, let us know a little bit about like your music background, like in terms of like what kind of vibes you kind of like, what kind of people you kind of grew up on, different influences.
Definitely. Well, I've just listened to so many different types of music since a super young age, and I think it's because of the fact that I'm like super mixed. So like my mom is Hispanic, so I have like that like salsa side that I really like to listen to, and like bachata. And then like my dad is like Caribbean and like Asian, so I like love listening to different types of like Caribbean styles and like, you know, like hip hop. So I'm always like, you know, liking different types of music. And when it comes to making music, I'm super new at it. Like I literally just started making music a couple months ago, but I've been singing like my entire life when it comes to like church choir or like choir in like high school. And I did like nationals in high school and got to like, you know, compete in like kind of like musical theater. So kind of like Glee, if you know what Glee is like. So I got to like sing and dance on stage, and we had like a choreographers and everything. So I feel like it's just been a ever like never ending like, you know, journey of like learning different types of music. So now I'm like in the studio and like working with a lot of different creatives and seeing like what my sound is. So I'm still figuring that out.
Do you have any like lanes you're leaning toward, like R&B or like rapping? Like
I really like the Latino side of music, being able to kind of like speak in Spanglish in a sense, like going back and forth from English and Spanish has been like really cool.
Oh.
Yeah, because then it's like you relate to like multiple audiences that way. So I've been really liking that type of vibe.
Nice. Do you have any questions, CJ? You want to start it off?
Yeah. Let me ask a question real quick. Do you think it's content wise? Like, first, let me ask you this: do you enjoy seeing like male TikToks or female? Like, who do you think has like the more entertaining like TikToks, or who would it be easier for to make like content like that?
I feel like it's not really like a, you know, if you're a girl or a guy. I think it's just really kind of like your style and what type of content you're making, because there's like a lot of people who love making like cosplay and like doing different types of transformations. And there's like a lot of different artists that I see on TikTok that have been like super successful in being like signed to different labels because of the fact that they just like, you know, take a really popular song and like take it apart, like remix it and like make it their own. So I feel like it just depends. Like I just love seeing like different types of creatives on like TikTok and social media.
So it's more of, I mean, if it works for you, it works.
Yeah. But I feel like you just have to keep trying and like seeing what works and then kind of building on that.
I got a question actually for real. All right, so like, do you think it's better to be like, I have a certain opinion on it, but I think, do you agree with me on this opinion where like, you said you want to be known either for like music or like fashion or certain things as like a content or a brand, because like you as a person are the brand too, you know? Would you rather like see as a viewer and like advice as a content creator and like social media influencer, all that, right? Like if you do music, to just post music content on TikTok, or just post that because that people follow you for music, not just because you're, either like attractive or doing trendy stuff, but they actually like fall in love with you through the process of what you're actually passionate about.
Definitely. So I feel like, again, that comes with like not putting yourself in one box and like trying out different styles of content. Because, maybe music is what you want to be known as, but maybe like by doing some trends and like, collaborating with different types of people, like you can still gain a lot of followers, which then lead people to your music. Yeah. So I feel like you don't have to do always like music for like every single video. I think it's important to kind of like incorporate with like different trends that are popping off. But like you can also like challenge yourself creatively to take like a trending sound and like maybe make it into like you rapping that sound or you singing that sound, and like still being able to stay like relevant to like the trendiness of things while like adding your own twist and making it in like a music niche.
Not for sure.
And you know what? I'm a rapper, right? An artist. So like I got so tired of paying for music videos and mixing and mastering. So I took it upon myself to like really get active with my own content, and I invested in a camera, and so for the last 6 months I've been building my own content, doing my own music videos, skits and stuff like that. Is there anything specific, whether it's a specific social media app or just something I should do to really like, target the audience more? Is there something like I'm looking for some guidance, and someone like you, I just peeped your Instagram before, and then like, obviously you doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Is there any advice you can give to somebody that's just starting off creating content? Like which way should I go? What direction?
Definitely. I mean, like for artists, I definitely think like TikTok is one of like the biggest changing apps out there right now. And it's only going to last for so long until it becomes another Instagram or Facebook or MySpace where it's oversaturated in a bunch of ads and, companies trying to basically monetize off of it. So I feel like TikTok still has that point in the app where you can still be like growing 1,000 followers a day if you're really pushing out that content, which you'll like thank yourself for years later from now. I think the biggest thing is like really just like consistency and like being able to post. Like for me, when it comes to like TikTok, I try to post at least 3 times a day and like go live at least like 1 to 2 times a day. So it's like if I stay on track with that and I'm like posting every single day and going live, I will gain at least 1,000 followers a day. And it's like it's really just about like being consistent, but like also like, seeing how you can like make things a lot better. Like my boyfriend, he helps me like a bunch with like the editing and like, being able to shoot things and everything. So I'm really grateful for that too. But like having people that can kind of help you to like elevate your game, whether it's like you said, with your camera and equipment. So being able to figure out how you can always like grow from that, but consistency is like the biggest thing.
Absolutely. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. The one thing I was always think about too is, do you have any advice on like when it comes to getting brands to sort of like sponsor you and stuff like that? I feel like there's a couple different schools of thought. Like a lot of people tend to think it's just about, do you have a big following, which that's going to get some attention. But do you feel like there's a way to actually like advice you would give, like, hey, make this hard, like if you want to appeal to certain types of brands, like is there a strategy on how to like do that? Or is it just like you have a big audience, they're gonna, you know what I mean?
Well, I think it's like, one, you always want to be like continuously building your audience, but you also want to keep in mind when it comes to like brand deals, like what brands might be looking for. So let's say like you're an artist, so maybe it's like make music, but maybe you can make like some content that's maybe like fashion related, for example. Let's say you have a passion for like fashion on the side of music. So let's say you like already basically have like a portfolio, on your TikTok where you're doing like before and after with different like fashion pieces. Then you can essentially take a video like that, email a brand and say like, hey, this is like a video that I previously posted with like a before and after with my fashion stuff. And I would love to do the same for your brand, whether it's like a brand of like sneakers or something like that, where you can incorporate it into like a video in a sense. And a brand will pay you, maybe like $100 to like $2,000 for a post, depending on how your analytics are. So I think it does depend like how you brand yourself, but sometimes like it's very much on like who your audience is. Like, do you have majority like females that are following you? Is a majority male that are following you? So it just depends on what brands you want to work with, like in your content, and if it makes sense for both parties.
No, that makes sense. It's such a new space, and like,
yeah.
I feel like the people who are getting these deals are kids.
Yeah.
And 100%. Most of them don't know like the contracts they're reading or like how to like navigate like a business conversation or transaction like that. So the fact that you're sharing that information is really helpful. So I appreciate it.
I think it's like having that like business mindset as well, though, because it's like I feel like a lot of creatives sometimes just love to create, which is amazing, but you also have to realize that there's like a business side of things and knowing how to be like practical and understanding the different revenue like sources in the game. So like there's so many like revenue sources out there, but you just really have to like understand it from like a business perspective to like incorporate it into like your creativeness. Yeah.
I feel like you've come from a business perspective at first though.
Yes.
So a lot of artists like, yeah, you would hope that they have that business, mindset, but a lot of artists don't. Like a lot of the artists just go into it and then they hope that someone kind of, runs them through everything, that they don't run into the wrong people. But yeah,
100%.
how do you, I don't know, how do you, what advice would you give to an artist who, again, isn't, their thing is to create, but they're not thinking about the business side. But what are some like main things, beginner things that any artist should at least look out for?
Well, I think like no matter what business you're in, whether it's like, a barbershop or whether it's like a fashion influencer or like an artist, like your number one business is always content. And like that's what Gary Vee always says is you have to be constantly producing content. And because content is like literally a storefront for who you are at this point. So it's like if you don't have a storefront, how are people going to find out who you are? So I feel like it's really like content first and then like the business like second, because it's like if you have the content, you have the following, like you have the dedicated fans, like even if you just had 1,000 dedicated fans, if you like sell something for $50,
you can sell that.
Yeah, like you could be making so much money. But biggest thing is just building like trust with the audience and like the money comes after is how I feel. So
What inspired your journey? Like, starting this off, this is a very difficult, career path to take. You got to really go all in with this, all or nothing. What inspired you to like get up and, start your whole career and your path,
Definitely. Well, I think definitely like for me, it stems back from like childhood. Like I had a dad who really encouraged me to like become entrepreneurial. And when I was like 7 years old, he was reading me like business books on like how to start a business and stuff. So I feel like he kind of like put that in me since a very young age and like the, being able to be like creative and not being afraid to fail was like something that was like very much embraced in my household. So I feel like that definitely like laid the foundation for that. And I mean, later on I did go to like business school and like studied entrepreneurship. And I think probably like my biggest inspiration was when I went to Draper University. It's like an entrepreneurship school, very selective, but basically your mentors are like millionaires and billionaires who literally have built like multi-million-dollar companies. And it just really opened my eyes since I was like 18 years old, being in a room with all these successful people who literally are the founders of Starbucks and Facebook and all of these huge corporations. And it just really showed me since a young age, like anything is really possible if you like put in the right amount of like work and also like networking and connecting with the right people.
So now, I mean, you're in an interesting position for content creators right now. And I feel like right now we're entering in like a world, a space where like content creators are able to do things that professionals in certain industries can't even do just because of the reach that they have. So like, do you like, I guess like what's your goal for the future in a sense? Like even like long term, like do you want to like box another content creator? Do you want to like, there's a lot of crazy things happening right now, but where do you kind of see like, what do you sort of shooting for in the future?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to be like a personal brand. So like I want to be like a personal brand and maybe like a women empowerment, figure to other girls who want to like grow up and like be some like big star and stuff. And I definitely want to have like multiple different like companies when it comes to like fashion or makeup. I just want to be like at the top of my game. So as long as I'm like really putting in the work that I'm doing, like I feel like the universe will reward you for that. But I just feel like growing every day is like my goal right now.
Dope. All right. Did you have any questions for the guys?
Just that I wanted to hear your guys' music. So
anything you just want to say before we jump into the beats? Do you have any more questions or are you good?
Yeah, for the other ladies on the show, like, I love your hair, shawty. You know what I'm saying? Tell us about yourself. What are you doing all that? You feel me?
Well, I wear wigs, so
yeah,
I change it up all the time.
Yeah.
I change it up all the time. Yeah, I just like colors. I just like to play, different looks, different styles. I like to play with makeup too. I dance, so I work at a club every night. Never thought I would. If you told me like 2 years ago, I would be like, that's cap. That's major cap. But shit happens, you know. You never know what opportunities are gonna be out there. So I just happened to meet someone who worked at a club, and then all of a sudden I was working at the club.
So
It's been fun. Yeah.
that's dope. I'm glad you enjoyed.
Aaliyah, tell Duffy who you are.
Oh, I'm Aaliyah. Moval out
What's
there.
happening? Oh, you
In
from
the
Rio
area
Valley?
too.
What?
Yeah,
That's
that's where I'm at.
Moval in the house.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, I just do a little bit of everything right now. Currently looking for another job. Laid off being sucked. But I mean, that's just what I've been doing. Hitting up with these guys out here. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. I can't just choose one thing. Dancing was number one though, for sure. Been to a lot of places, moved around a lot. And Cali's always been home, so I mean, that's where I reside now. Just trying to pick up my feet. That's it.
All right, cool.
But on another note,
Go ahead.
I appreciate you, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, you gave some mighty fine information.
Yes. You guys
Mighty
need
fine
Yes,
information.
if you need social media tips and tricks, feel free to reach
Definitely,
out. I'm
definitely.
always down to help people out.
Yeah, I'll be scrolling through TikTok and shit like that be popping up. I'm like, yep,
I'll be on
saved.
TikTok too.
Saved. Okay, let's go.
I can't do it,
Yes.
man.
But yeah, cool.
got valuable
Yeah.
information.
Again, you guys know I bring the best guests on. Stop playing. But yeah, let's jump into the beats, and we're gonna go ahead and rap for Sophia.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
You start.
Go on first.
Yeah, 'cause I got drinks. Unless you want me, I don't care. I don't care.
Yeah. Hey, rap for me. Today we got Sophia. I wouldn't wanna be her. Hi, nice to meet you. Looking at my competition, I'm in first place. This rap race is nothing to me. My competition in the death trap. Remember, I said rap race, death trap. Sorry if you didn't get that. CJ on his A-list. Listening to Sophie talk about media and marketing strategies. Look at me, I'm proud of me. I'm making it, the stars align, and man, I hit in gravity. Yeah, man, I don't practice chastity. I just want you to know I'm about to let it go. Shine my light, I'm a flame, I'm about to let it blow.
Hey. Ain't no sob story, we made it through. Had to visualize it, I'm living proof. New Rari, I'm sliding through. On a 60 West, gave me deja vu. God bless me, like he said I chew. Hey, me and my nigga CJ, going crazy. Freestyle at the top of the dome. NV, that's what I call home. I'ma do my shit at the top. Hey, freestyling ain't nothing. Get money, new chain on. With all the homies. We just rapping go bitch.
Hey, I'm up in Europe, that's a French press. TMZ them hit them, swear to God they see my necklace. Been wrecked this, look, we ain't grew from public learning. All my homies had attorneys, so my best friend on the gurney. On the east side, nothing promised.
Hey.
On the north side, just a problem. Yeah, my cousin selling drugs, and my mama said we got him, fuck it, I can never be the person who say see you later. That was never promised, nigga. That's why we true now and laters. Ain't shit sweet. I remember 20 deep, 3 in street, signed 3 artists. Both of these niggas, they still moving discreet. It's funny justice interviewing me, cause my niggas never knew justice. They got taken by justice.
Hey.
Fuck it.
I done bossed up, I done came up. Ain't no handouts, ain't no favors. This is payback cause they played us. Get the fuck you fee when they pay us. Hey, now I'm in my zone, I need money now. I'm from the NV, from the rep the town. Freestyling, that's out the top with my
Sophia
niggas in
came
here.
through
Hey.
with the magic man.
Yeah.
Make my competition disappear like my name Kazam.
Yeah.
I feel like Shaq, I'm the Diesel, I'm the Superman. I fly high, I fly away, I fly as fast as I can.
We've been moving
Yeah.
pots and pans. That shit is not the clan. We
Hey.
can never be the same. Baby blood related fam. Man, my first pistol had to clean that 13. Stupid how these niggas walk up in they New York Yankee fitted 10 and
Hey.
blue jeans.
Hey.
Ain't no upside.
Hey, any nigga trippin', fuck it with the business. We pull up a minute, shoot through with this, send me to the clip and finish. Shoot it hoppers and never miss a brain filled with pennies and writing just to hear the fucking thing. Hey, I could do this all day. Hey, young nigga finna get paid.
Hey.
New watch on my wrist. Hey, pull up with Aaliyah. That's my homegirl, she is not my bitch, but she gon' rap next. Hey, coming for your next, applying pressure, bitch, I'm up next. Hey, shout out baby Ruthless. She was up here gassing before. Hey, my future bright, so much more in store. Ay, I don't even know.
That's
but I
good.
can rap all
That's
day.
good. That's good.
Hey, we could keep going, but yeah. Hey, all y'all went off though. That was cool.
No, for real, y'all was all together on that
That
one.
was dope. Okay,
was
cool.
fun.
Okay, cool. Sophia, what'd you think? Whose flow were you feeling? You're a new singer, new artist.
Oh,
You know, who you feeling? Who you like? Man, I gotta get him and I can do a bit of chop the beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, who'd you like the most?
I mean, all of you guys were amazing, honestly. Like, I feel like everyone has their own different vibes. So, yeah, everyone was dope. Yeah.
But a little bit better, like you. Do you have a preference? Do you have a preference?
So I have to vote.
Do you have
Do
a
I
preference?
have to vote?
I mean, it's America, so we gotta.
Well, I
That's
like
the
how.
compliment. Hurt two people's feelings in this room.
we got a
It could be me.
preference.
Well, I mean,
my
I
feelings.
loved like how you were going super fast, like I can't do that, but that was dope, and I love how
Thank
you
you.
like mentioned my name out there with the marketing, you know. Yeah. And you had some really cool rhymes too. So
Appreciate it. I'm
Yeah.
chilling.
You know what, guys? You in the comments, you guys can decide who won.
That's what it should be.
But yeah, thank you for coming through. Do you want to
Thank
plug
you for
anything
having me.
before we leave?
I mean, just follow me on social media if you want to stay up to date with my life at Sophia Camille Collier on everything. And I do run a marketing agency, so I work with a lot of artists, help you guys get plugged in with that Spotify. So
Absolutely.
definitely DM if you need some marketing tips.
Okay, yeah, lead with that next time. Okay.
For sure.
That was cool. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. This is our episode for this week. See you guys next time.
Hey.